The Minnesota Timberwolves are on the road to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's game one of the Western Conference Finals. My best plays are on the way. Before we dive into things, here's how today's video is going to go. We're going to have our two favorite player props of the day. We're going to have my wife's POD. If you know, you know. We'll talk about my favorite spread. We'll have a parlay, and I'll even give you my series prediction on this game. Let's dive into things. The last 2 days of the NBA, we had swept the board. We were 6-0. And on Sunday, for that game 7, we swept it all over again, baby. But an 0-3 day. Yeah, we went 0-3. It was minus 1.5 units. Disgusting. Doesn't help. That was a blowout. As you guys know, we lost the ladder challenge by 1 point for Jamal Murray. Christian Brown was a bad read. We live with that. I'll take an under on the chin. It's fun. If I lose an over, crickets, lose an under, I get millions of comments. Guys, the record on under speaks for itself. We're at a 66% hit rate. We won't complain about one going our way, wrong. Dort went 1 for 5, just didn't play a ton. And SGA's rebounds and assists, I called that quits after he went out there and had 20 potential assists. I mean, the first half, so many missed bunnies. You'd think they scored so many points. He barely got any assists. But either way, we'll bounce back today. It is a game one, though. I do want to note earlier on in the series, really tough. In my opinion, the best time to bet in the NBA, at least in my opinion, the best where you have the best chance is probably in like games 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5. Game one's really tough because you have to see what teams are going to bring out there. And then when you get to game 6 and 7, those lines are super sharp. But we'll try our best here. At the end of the video, we will talk about our underdog fantasy slip. Here's an AntMan free pick if you want to sign up using my code COS. I certainly appreciate anyone that uses that code. You'll get this AntMan free pick. Take advantage of that, or you'll get one for the Knicks and Pacers game tomorrow. Either way, you're getting a free pick only if you use that code COS or the link in the description. Here again are all the states that Underdog is available in. If it's in your state, what are you doing? Sign up. $1,000 deposit match. Sign up using that code COS or the link down below. But let's dive into our picks today. Oh, we'll dive into how I feel about this series at the end of the video, so feel free to skip forward to that. But let's dive into Nas Reed's over in PRA is my first play of the day at 16.5. I like it at 17.5 as well. Nas Reed's kind of an all or nothing kind of guy. If he's going to go over, he probably gets 20 or more PRAs. If he goes under, then he probably stinks up the joint. So I'm not too worried about Nas stinking it up here. I think this is a great series for him. We'll see exactly as game one because, like I said, game ones are kind of tough to predict. The Mark Dagnall and the OKC Thunder could come in with a completely different game plan than you might expect. It's the playoffs. What happened to the regular season going to be different in the playoffs. But I think it's a Nas Reed series. Why is that? Because we saw the Thunder. What do? They give up some open threes, and it's really hard to score in the paint. We know they were one of the best defenses in the league, and that led to a lot of defensive possessions where you can't really score in the paint against this team. And we saw Jokic have his fair share of trouble. So Rudy Gobert in there, sure, he's good on the defensive side of the court, but on offense, he doesn't really give you much. And then they're going to live with, Rudy Gobert trying to finish down low. And heck, if Rudy Gobert gets the ball in his hands in the paint, if he better keep that thing up, because if he brings it down, they will be swiping at it. And I just think it's going to be tough sledding for Rudy Gobert here. I think you're going to want Nas Reed in his playmaking and also his shot making, because we know Rudy Gobert doesn't shoot threes. We've seen Nas dominate, though, this matchup against the Thunder. Now, if you just go to his head-to-head stats, they're very misleading because he had 3 games against them where he played without Julius Randle and without Rudy Gobert. So he was starting, and he destroyed them. He had 35 or more PRAs in all 3 of those games, but he did play in one at the end of December where everyone played. AntMan, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, all guys were active, and he still had 28 points, rebounds, and assists against them. I think this is the spot they need his shooting, and we saw them give up open jump shots to Nikola Jokic. They give those up to Nas Reed, he should be able to make them pay. I wish this game was at home, but I still think that his shot-making ability will be needed. He can take guys off the dribble, something Rudy Gobert can't do. He can finish. He can go one-on-one. He can do those sort of things. And we know AntMan's going to have tough job scoring here, given he's going to have Lou Dort, Caruso, name it, any defender on him. It's going to be a tough matchup for Ant. And Julius Randle, well, he played really well in the series against the Warriors, and so far this postseason, I don't like the series for Julius Randle. I mean, last series in the Warriors, they basically begged Julius Randle to beat him. They were having centers on him. Kevon Looney, Trace Jackson Davis, those guys were guarding him, whereas they had a smaller defenders on Nas Reed, hence why he didn't really do a whole lot, get a lot of volume, because if Julius Randle's got a center on, I'm sure we'll live with that. It's kind of what the Warriors wanted. Ended up coming to their demise as he had a really big series. I don't know if he has that same mismatch as he does in this one. If anything, he gets Chet Holmgren, a pretty good defender who can move his feet. So I like this as a series for Nas Reed. Should get some opportunities here. I really like his over in PRAs. If you're a trends person in game ones this postseason, Nas is at 30 and 25 PRAs. So keep the game one Nas going. I think he has a big game tonight. Give me Nas Reed's over in PRAs. Probably won't be the last time we back him this series, especially if he can go over in game one. My second place is going to be an under. It's Chet Holmgren under 14.5 points, minus 120 on DraftKings. This is a very different series than it was against the Nuggets. The Nuggets were a team that were like, SGA, we're sending as many bodies at you. Someone else has to beat us. And heck, it worked getting them to a game 7. This is not, it's kind of not the Timberwolves' identity. At least it hasn't been so far this postseason and the season in general. When they face the Thunder, they basically let SGA get whatever he wants. But the other spot up shooters, they limit those guys. And that's kind of what they do against every team. They're fourth defensively against spot up shooting. So they don't give up a lot of spot up shots, which kind of where Chet plays. He can sit out on the perimeter trying to shoot some threes, or he can try to drive. But again, driving on non-Rudy Gobert guys is going to be tough because he probably gets Julius Randle on him. When he comes in off the bench, he's going to get another bit a wing on him, and maybe he's able to score in that second unit against Gobert. But I just don't see Chet getting a big usage bump here. He had open shots against the Nuggets. He was able to score there, but Chet just, I don't like this matchup for him. Last year, he played well against the Thunder or against the Timberwolves, and he had some games where you said, he's from Wisconsin, so sure, he plays well. But again, that was when he had Rudy Gobert guarding him. That's not the matchup I see him getting today, where Chet gets the Rudy Gobert assignment. I think he's actually going to probably lean more towards getting Julius Randle, and that's not a guy who can take off the dribble. And so we've seen kind of that happen so far this season, scoring 11 and 19 against them. Now, I don't remember if the 19 came with Randle in or out. I don't really care, but the 19-point performance, he shot 73%, and he made 3 of his 4 threes. Again, if we shoot 75%, yeah, we're going to lose our under here. But again, the volume wasn't great in the 2 games versus Minnesota, only 7 and 11 shots. And you look at Chet to make 3 threes today is plus 500. Heck, his under 1.5 threes is minus 200. And this season, he's played in 16 games where SGA, J-Dub, and Hartenstein all played. You need those 3 in there. And in those 16 games, he also made 1 or fewer threes, which the line suggests at minus 200. They really think he makes 1 or fewer. He went under this line in 13 of those 16 games, averaging just 11.4 points per game. I could be wrong on this one. It could happen. It's not my first time getting wrong on an under, but I just don't think this is a big Chet series. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that this is a bigger series for SGA. I looked at some markets for SGA to back him on the series to score 25 plus points in every single game. That's plus 200 on BetMGM. I'm not going to take it officially, but it is something that does keep my eye out. But I do like this Chet under here. I just don't think this is a great series for him. So I'll take Chet Holmgren under 14.5 points. My third play, as always, will be our Dub Club exclusive play. It's another under in points. I'd argue of it all, my 3 official picks towards the slate, that's my favorite one. It's on a role player. I won't tell you who it is, but it's on a role player. It's an under in points. I encourage you, if you want to join the Dub Club, now's the time. We got about a month left in the NBA season. If you're going to join, well, once you know, we have a link down there in the description that gives you $10 off your first month. So it's only $5. You get all the exclusive plays throughout the rest of the NBA season. Plus, you get the ladder challenge early and a bunch of other perks. Encourage you to join. Now we get to what everyone's been waiting for. It's my wife's POD. Also, it's my 2nd anniversary with my wife today. So the POD is smacking. Now you might be like, Austin, why the heck are you putting your wife's POD in? Well, when the conference finals roll around, I asked my wife, I'm like, hey, we need some content. Here's the slate. Pick whatever you want. Normally, she just ends up on a star players over, but she does sometimes go to some other random things. We like to track her record. Sue her. You can fade her. I don't care. I don't care if you fade Taylor. She historically has had a pretty good track record in the playoffs, though. I will note that. Forget what she went last year. I think 7-5. Don't quote me on that. But today, she's going with AntMan over in PRAs. We'll see. Like I said, she knows very little. I didn't want to say she knows nothing because she does know who AntMan is. We watched that Olympics documentary, but she really doesn't know a ton of players. So she just kind of sees names, faces, and takes picks. We'll see how she does. We'll track her record for the rest of the season. She'll give out 1 pick in the conference finals and the finals. So what is that? However many picks she has, she could have 12. She could have 21 picks. We'll see. Let's see how she does. AntMan over in PRAs. I'll track it on there, and we'll see how she does. Finally, let's dive into my Underdog Slip. A reminder, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up using my code COS. Get this free pick. Here's all the states that Underdog's in. Again, sign up. Take advantage. That link's down below. Here's my Underdog Slip I'm rolling with. Let's talk with these guys. Julius Randle, less than 24.5 points. We have Chet's under there. SGA's over, and J-Dub's under. Turn $20 on this, turns like 120. I'm fading Randle, and I'm fading Jalen Williams. And I really just think this is an SGA series. I just think J-Dub's kind of a fraud. Call me crazy. I think he's kind of a fraud in the playoffs. He just hasn't shown. Sure, he had a great game 7 against the Nuggets. I find a shot in there that was difficult. It was so many easy layups in transition. It was left and right. Find a shot difficult in there. Timberwolves are going to make him make difficult shots. I'm not taking his official regular line under, although I did look at it because I already had Chet's under. But I don't think this is a big J-Dub series. I just don't. If he proves me wrong, congrats. He just is not showing up in the playoffs, and I'm not ready to buy in on it. I think this is a big SGA volume series, so I do lean his over. I would have made it official play, but they bumped it from 30.5 to 31.5. I mean, Love's end on 31. Randall, I don't think this is a good Randall series. I think he's had some good matchups. And I'm willing to pay to find out. Julius Randle, if he scores 25, that's how I lose. Fine. But I just don't. Randle, he's not getting a center on him these days. And if it is a center, it's Chet Holmgren. If he drives, congrats, you're being met with Hartenstein at the rim. So, again, I just don't see this being a great series for him. If he goes great, congrats to him. We won't fade him next game, but I'll take his less than there. Again, $20 on this turns into $120. Feel free to sprinkle on it. Put $1, put $5. I don't care. Whatever you want. We're doing that. Let's get into this game and the series. I'll start with my game. We've been red hot on the spreads and totals. We were 6-13. Someone decided they were going to start fading, and since then we've hit 5 in a row. I really like the Timberwolves plus 7.5. Now, as always, I don't bet spreads really in the NBA. It really pisses me off to lose my money on spreads. It's like a backdoor shot. I mean, if you were on the Timberwolves minus 5.5 and you got that cum bucket, a 3-pointer dropped on your head, you're probably pissed off about that. And I refuse to lose like that. I'd rather lose a prop from a guy scoring really well, or playing poorly. I'd rather lose there. But I do lean the T-Wolves plus 7.5. I think it's a really good team. I think they're just as good as the Nuggets, a much better defensive team than the Nuggets. And I think they make it life difficult on the Thunder to score. It's going to be all on SGA. They don't tend to call as many fouls in the postseason. So, again, he's going to have to make tough shots. There's going to be some borderline foul calls he doesn't get. It's going to be tough to score. There's not going to be a lot of open threes where the Thunder score a lot of their points. It's a lower scoring, probably game one. I do like the T-Wolves plus 7.5 or plus 8.5, whatever you can get it at. See if we can hit a 6 straight spread winner. And so I think it's pretty easy. More my series lean would be, I lean and we'll track this towards the leans record. I don't put anything on them, but I do like the T-Wolves plus 2.5. I just think they don't lose this game, lose this series more than 4-2. I think they could at least squeak out 2 games. They'll be close to near favored on the road. At home. I mean, they'll be probably like 2.5-point underdogs. I think they at least get 1 win at home and 1 win on the road. I just don't. The Thunder have just go hot and cold, and we see that. And sure, they're one of the best teams in NBA history in terms of defensive rating and net rating and stuff like that. The T-Wolves have talented players. They have a squad. They go 7 or 8 deep, all guys that can contribute, very similar to a team like the Thunder, who rely on a bunch of different guys that contribute. Sure, it's SGA, J-Dub, Chet. Those guys get the name recognition, but guys like Caruso make a big impact. And those guys, this is a Timberwolves team built very similar to them. They have an alpha, which will be their AntMan, and then they have their role players. And I think the Timberwolves role players are good enough to steal them a game or two. So I would lean the T-Wolves plus 2.5. Now, I'm not making an official play because it is like minus 140. So it's a little bit juiced, but I do like the T-Wolves here. I don't know if they win this series, but I think they at least win 2 games. And if they win 2 games, it's a guarantee they win plus 2.5. So I would lean that. But you want to parlay by Knicks and Pacers thoughts? We haven't put a ton of thought into that one, but I do think the Pacers plus 2.5 is a free leg. You can take that. Plus 2.5 is like minus 330. So put Timberwolves, put Pacers plus 2.5 in the series. That is where I would lean. But I'll talk more about that Pacers series in tomorrow's video, Knicks and Pacers game 1. Either way, my official picks on the channel towards the record. Nas Reed PRA's over. Chet Holmgren under points, and our Dub Club exclusive under in points for some random fella in this game. Get in the Dub Club. It is exclusive. It's already been posted. Check that out. I'll have a ladder challenge posted later today. I'll probably have that posted pretty soon. So check that out. Let's try to get back on the snide for the ladder. We don't have so many games left in the NBA. Might as well keep throwing out a ladder. We're not tracking it as a 1-unit play. We're just doing $10. So if you can't afford $10, it's close to your unit size, make it $1. Then you can turn $1 into $1,000. That's still pretty solid, right? That's how that money would work. I think so. Either way, thanks for tuning in. It's Austin. I'm signing out. Let's have a wonderful start to the series, and I'll see you guys back tomorrow for Knicks and Pacers game 1, and probably maybe after today, because I'm pretty busy this afternoon with my wife for our anniversary. I might start posting our NBA picks the night before, so I might not be able to recap every day. We'll figure that out. Either way, thanks for tuning in. It's Austin. I'm signing out. See you in the next one. Peace.